understand different religions do different things, but we don't do that here.
You ain't lying. That's exactly what they were saying. That's exactly how they were saying.
You got that down pat, my boy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sips and Scripts, the podcast where we make a cocktail and talk about one of our favorite movies from the past and present. I'm Kirsten Jackson, and I'm a blogger and cocktail influencer at lowcountrysocialite.com.
Hi, my name is Kayla Rose, and I'm an entertainment blogger at inmytheater.com.
Hi, my name is Terrell and I'm a film enthusiast. Welcome to the show.
Woo woo!
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Back once again.
Back, like we never, ever left.
For the one time.
No, really, Kayla? Did we have to go all Annie the musical?
Yes.
Absolutely, because that's what we do.
No, that is what you do. But we love you for it, baby. We love you for it.
Mhm.
All right. And today we will be finishing up the series Women of the Movement, the final 3 episodes 4 through 6.
So get ready for some anger from us, or at least for me.
Yeah, it was wild. Wild.
Yeah, definitely have some things to say about it. But before we get into that, what is everyone up to this week?
What am I up to this week, guys? I have no idea. I'm going to an event. I do know that.
I was about to say, ain't no way you could be like, I'm not doing anything when you
I'm not
got
doing anything.
an event tonight.
Not
What?
I.
What is your event? Where are you going?
I am going to an event in Atlanta. It's for The Reacher, which is a new show on Amazon Prime. They put together an obstacle course that features things like how to break out of jail and all these little different things that you can do and get a little scorecard and a nice photo op at the end. So I am going to go down there and see if I have what it takes to be a criminal, maybe. I don't think he's a criminal.
Well, for
but,
what it's worth, I really think you have what it takes.
I think so too.
Well, where can we find The Reacher? Like, where is
That's gonna
where
be
can you watch
on Amazon Prime Video.
it? Okay,
Nice.
So that's where you can find it.
Cool beans. I like that.
This week I am working on I finally took a big chunk out of the unpacking that I still have yet to do from moving into this dang house.
Oh Lord.
I know. So many clothes, so many things, so many everythings.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'll never be done. So that's
You won't.
It's almost like you just never feel like you've done all the things.
Yeah, exactly.
It always seems like there's something to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to figure out when I moved into Hogwarts because it feels like all of my shit is multiplying. Like,
Oh my God, that's funny.
every time I think I'm almost done, it's like, ta-da, 4 more boxes in this corner. I'm like, what's going on
Here's
here?
that and another one.
So that is what I'm working on as far as personally. February 1st is coming, so my little influencer sabbatical will be up. So I'll be back to sharing content, and it'll be just in time to get ready for Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
There we go. So,
what y'all doing for Valentine's Day?
who us?
Yes, the ladies. What do the ladies got planned for the Valentine's Day?
Crying into a bowl of soup.
Ooh, I gotta be soup.
I'm kidding. It's gonna be a self-love day for me, because but
I
also
don't know what kind of soup.
Yeah, I know. Right? Alphabet soup. That would be
right.
good.
I was exactly about to say that. Animal crackers in my soup.
Thank you, Shirley.
Because that's exactly probably what that would be.
Oh
The
God.
baby's putting animal crackers in my soup. Sounds about valid to me.
But you got them 2 babies. You can love on them for Valentine's Day.
I can. Them all my kids.
Them all your chillins.
Mhm.
We don't have anything planned for Valentine's Day. It's gonna be pretty low key because
I don't believe you.
Right. I don't believe her at
Why?
all. Okay.
Why?
I
Y'all
don't.
go ahead and tell these lies. Why?
Because
Y'all are last minute type of people, but y'all always do something real cute.
Mm-hmm.
You and Brandy.
First of all, you take those lies and you shove them right up your patootie. No, well, Valentine's Day is on a freaking Monday, but it does work out because his day off is Tuesday. So we'll probably just, I don't know, maybe cook something. And if you survive until Tuesday, then we'll go out and do.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But what's funny is I've moved into this damn house. I've gotten pretty damn domestic. So I've cooked quite a few times.
For you.
I don't.
Oh, you ain't got no more mama's cooking.
She cook all the time and stuff, but she be, you don't ever want to eat what I make. You just go get you something. I don't know. Yeah, well, sometimes I ain't just gonna be here to just gobble up stuff.
Oh, well, hey.
That's what you do.
It is what I do, and I do it well. Terrell, you can tell us what you up to this weekend. What you got planned for Valentine's Day? Don't be trying to throw it all on us. Get up.
Well, I have not made any plans.
What the fuck?
Valentine's Day is undetermined. We usually don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I believe it's propaganda.
Oh God! God! Every black man got this record and they play it on repeat.
It is. They just want you to spend money unnecessarily.
Randall says the same thing, but I take that record and snap it in half and be like, "This is what we do."
Wow.
Yeah, no, you will not be telling me I can't because I am.
They play that bullshit record all the time and be like, "I feel like if you love somebody, then you should
show it all year.
You should show it all year round.
All year round. There you go.
That bullshit. Nah, that's
all
that
year round. Come on,
y'all stinking asses don't mind celebrating Christmas, and if you love Jesus, then you ought to love him year round. Now, how you love that?
Okay,
I do love Jesus year round. Who told you I didn't love Jesus year round?
You don't keep your Christmas tree and all your little Christmas decorations up and do all your little Christmas stuff all year round.
Yeah, that's because if I did, the HOA would be like, hey, you take that down.
We understand different religions do different things, but we don't do that here.
You ain't lying. That's exactly what they were saying. That's exactly how they were saying.
You got that down pat, my boy.
While we acknowledge all religions, we do not acknowledge all decorations all the time. Okay?
Take it down. Yes, ma'am.
Well, okay, Mr. If you love somebody, all right, then you need to give Rhonda flowers every day. Then
she don't like flowers.
Well, give us something.
I
something
know
every
my
day.
Wife. See, that's why I ain't worried about it. She don't like
okay,
too
well,
much.
what's it that Negro like? Give it to her every day. Since y'all can't take the one day just to show somebody how much.
I'm gonna do something. She probably not gonna do nothing.
I know you, Terrell. I know you.
I'm probably gonna do something.
And you know what? That's about right. That sounds just about right. You do something real nice for that woman who bared your kids and put up with your mess.
And Terrell got a big ass head. So
what that has to do with anything?
She birthed.
She need everything. She needs diamonds. Okay, yeah, ice her out. Periods.
Okay. Exactly. Well, all right. Well, ice her out. Okay, I'll see what I can do.
You heard it here first.
Go right over.
Expect diamonds.
Go to the swap meet. See what they got.
Really? You know what? Let's move on before you get divorced today.
Wild.
Oh Lord. Anyway, well, Terrell, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about women of the movement today.
Yes.
We spoke about the first 3 episodes and finish up with the remaining 3 episodes. Yeah, so that's what we're jumping into today.
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
What are we drinking today?
Because
I think I'm gonna need a drink after this one.
I think everybody is gonna need a drink after this one because this was a lot. We're gonna be making Mississippi Punch.
All right.
Since our movie is based on this tragedy that happened in the great state of Mississippi.
Yeah.
Or just the state of Mississippi. Right. I wouldn't call it the great state.
That was quite a reach, but okay. So it's just it calls for quite a few ingredients, but it's very simple. It's not a complex recipe, but it's a Mississippi punch cocktail. So you'll need 1.5 ounces of light rum, 1 ounce of bourbon, 1 ounce of brandy, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, and a dash or two of bitters and some ice cubes. And you'll combine all of that in a cocktail shaker, give it a good shake, and strain it over some fresh ice into a tall Collins glass. So this cocktail is pretty boozy forward, but we're going to need all the booze that we can stand to move into our movie or series or topic for the day, whatever the hell. So yeah, as usual, the recipe will be up on the website and we'll post it on Instagram, all that good stuff. So
all right,
so let's get into it. Terrell, hit it.
All right, let's see. Episode 4 through 6. Let's see. 4th episode was really about the trial and getting stuff ready for the trial. What the NAACP was doing during that time. Ruby Hurley, she was the real standout during that to me. Everything that she did, they were going in disguise to speak with people and stuff like that.
Which that scene was, I wasn't expecting that, but
you weren't expecting that?
No.
I mean, but that's the way I think they would have to get down to, because they didn't really speak with people. They didn't really communicate with people from the North like that, I believe. So if somebody from the North came down and was like, yo, tell me about this, they would have been like, we not talking to you. But if you look like us, like I'd be more apt to speak with you, because I think.
Oh no, I understand the logic behind it, but I was just saying, like it like, and maybe it was for time, but there was no scene before that was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go talk to them and look like them. It was just like boom, the next scene, she in a head rag, like, hey there, tell me something. And I was like, who is that? And I was okay.
Yeah. Wild. It was wild to me personally. I was like, oh, okay.
She did run up on the lady like, look, tell me what it is, because your son could be next. And I was, I mean, I get it, but
NAACP was aggressive. They really wanted this case to go a different way. This was their mark. If we can get this done in Mississippi, we can get things done throughout the South.
I get it, but like, and there was a moment where she had to double back to the lady and be like, look, maybe I was a little too aggressive, and I did not realize that you're not just putting your livelihood on the line. You're putting your life on the line.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing to see them, like her doubling back and admitting that, yeah, man, the stakes are a little higher for you than for me. So.
Yeah, that was so interesting to me. Like, just like Terrell pointed out, I was like, she definitely went, and I thought it took so much courage. I know it was kind of further along because we didn't really realize if they were going to do it or not, if she was going to take the stand or not. And I just know it took so much courage for her to stand up on that stand and tell what she told, and the guy as well to come and tell what he told. And it's so sad that it didn't have any bearing on the case.
Yeah.
Still got off.
I feel like, God bless Uncle Mose. I think I said that last episode too, but it took a lot of courage for him to stand up in that courtroom and point to them white men like that. And that little picture of him pointing is just iconic. And that took a lot of bravery and
definitely. But you see, he had to leave after. I mean, it was terrible down there. Having to leave everything behind, your dog, where you work, everything, to go like, I got to get out of here just for pointing at two white men.
Yeah. I thought her bravery, not her bravery, that's not the word I'm looking for, but her ability to forgive that man, I was like,
I'm talking about Mamie.
Yes.
Yeah.
She got
Forgive
grace,
Mose?
y'all. She because I don't think I could. I don't think I could have. And I like how they kind of explain, like, yeah, I was angry when I first got down here, but like I understand that he thought he could provide the safety and that summer camp experience. And so I don't fault him. And I'm like, oh, she was a stronger woman than most. Because I
Yeah.
don't think I could have. I don't think I could have done it.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I'm pretty sure she was angry for a while because she was promised that it would be taken care of. And I think that it took her going down there to really realize how it was and to understand the fear. Like, because there were, even though she was aware of how the South was, she wasn't raised down there.
Exactly.
You know, other than visits and being down there. So she was like, what, 2, I think? So, like, because remember the scene in the courtroom? Mamie had every right to be upset with him. But like I said, I think her going down there and visiting and really seeing how things are really helped her to understand why Mose would be terrified and would be slow to accuse these white men.
Because when they were speaking with Dr. Howard at Mount Bayou, she didn't think, she was like kind of calling him like a coward, didn't think that he would go through with it, or didn't think that he would testify to what he saw. But once he got on stand, he really came through. He said exactly what he saw, even though the attorney tried to twist his words. He's like, well, no, you really didn't see what you think you saw. Like, no, I saw what I saw, and that's what I'm gonna say. But once he did that, he knew that his time there was done.
Yeah.
I hated.
Oh, go ahead, Kayla.
No, I hate the defense. Like the defense, like the argument that they made just did. I mean, like, it just didn't make any sense because I'm just like, I done told you that he said who he was. I saw his face. Leave me the fuck alone.
Like, how do you know? How do you know? He said his name was Mr. Bryan, but he couldn't have been Mr. Bryan. It could have been somebody else. Who goes and says somebody else?
And it was just like, you know, just proof of how little they thought of blacks as far as like intelligence.
Yeah.
Because the defense wasn't even like a well-crafted defense. It was just like, I'm not gonna come up with a good defense. I'm just gonna try to cross this nigga up. You said you did, but you didn't? You didn't? But dude, what you mean by that? Like, excuse me, you were just trying to mix him up because you thought he was an ignorant black man.
Exactly.
And that trial.
And they did that with every black person that got on the stand. Every person that got on the stand that was black, they tried the same tactic every single time. And did y'all notice that they put their hand on a colored Bible? It was marked colored. I'm like, please tell me that are the words different in this Bible? This colored Bible? Jesus is black in the colored Bible?
Watching it. Me and Randall were sitting there watching. And when that scene came on, I screamed. Because I was like, I'm sorry, like segregation, like on that level, just does not make any sense to me. No. Like,
nope,
we can't swear on the same Bible.
Wild.
We could sit in the same chair.
Yeah.
When you're on the stand,
because they didn't exchange in chairs. They sat down. The next person came and sat down.
But we can't swear on the same Bible. What?
Yeah, I thought that was wild.
That shit was crazy, and I'm like, I just don't understand. But you know, that once again, that is me trying to apply logic where there is none. Because
we got to stop doing that, because baby, there was literally no part of this was logical. Like, even like to the point where they were like, how you know that was him? And then I didn't understand how they were like, no, the ring can't be called into question. Like, we shouldn't allow the ring. And I'm like, but that was like a huge identifier that this is how else would anyone have gotten this specific ring that had my husband's right. And I'm just like, y'all are really trying to do everything you possibly can. And the fact that they kept trying to say, this man did this, that man did that, this
when
man.
It was a boy.
Which is still done to this day.
Very true.
Which is still done to this day. Like
it is.
Black children are always seen as older than they are, and it's sad.
As older than they are, and then like as I don't know, and
more aggressive,
violent,
more sexual,
more aggressive. That's what I'm trying to say.
All of that, it's pathetic. But yeah, that defense was like so lazy. It was like the only thing that we can do is just try to cross these niggas up and make them think that they didn't see what they saw.
Exactly. Well, how did you see him if he had the flashlight? Where you can see stuff. He was like, it's coming out the side. The light coming out the side. It illuminates. It could illuminate him as well. A flashlight isn't just a straight line of light that only goes in one direction.
Shit.
Exactly.
Right. All
it
of
was
that.
light. It was light out there. Like, did you
And
turn on the light? No.
Something that really stuck out to me was how he was trying to tell him the one of the field workers when he was saying, I saw him go in and I saw him come out. I saw him take a drink. I saw him. And he was like, well, you don't know what he was in there doing. And you never saw him actually in the barn. You saw him coming out and going back, but you never saw him in there. And I was just like, what?
Yeah. That's the stuff
it was crazy.
They hung their hat on was flimsy. That would never stand up in the court of law today. Not at all.
It was crazy. And then it was like, well,
or at least I hope it wouldn't hold up in the court of law.
Right. But like, and what got me was with the Carolyn Bryant woman, they were like, you know, she said that was Emmett that did that to her. But then when they went and got Emmett, they realized it wasn't him, so they let him go.
And they let him go. Makes zero sense. You contradicted yourself with saying what you did. First, you saying, then she got on the stand and made up this wild story.
Wild.
That made zero sense.
Wild story.
But he wasn't. Well, was he the one or wasn't he the one? And I needed the prosecutor. The prosecutor didn't do his job, in my opinion. I know he thought he was trying, but he was trash. He was trash.
He really was. Because I was like...
Because I would have jumped on that. I'm like, no, that's what we not going to do is you going to tell me you kidnapped the kid, found out he wasn't a kid, then you let him go. But then you telling me this story about how this kid did all this and then you went and got your gun.
And it was that kid.
Exactly. Like, come on. But now all of a sudden it wasn't the kid that y'all found. It's another kid that went missing at another plantation, but nobody wants to talk. Like,
the shit was crazy. And I'm not gonna lie. The series started losing me in the 4th episode.
Yeah. I have to agree.
Yeah, maybe 4th or 5th episode, whichever one that had the bulk of the trial in it.
5th episode.
It was the 5th episode. Yeah, when they started going all legal on me with all the kind of legal jargon that wasn't really explained, but it was just so crazy and far-fetched to where it was like, I will say that I kind of checked out a little bit. I watched it, but I was like, yeah. And also, I think it was because I know the outcome. I knew what was going to happen. So then when they were going back and forth in court, I was just like,
I already know this isn't gonna. It's that like they're gonna change history with it. So
I that it did it for me when I heard her tell the story of what she said happened. I got so pissed off that I was like, I don't want to finish this because I know it was a lie. I know that she got away with it. I don't want to watch this anymore because it just made me so angry. It made me want to cry because his mother had to sit there and know that her son would never do something like that. Her son would have never. And then to hear about the whistling, like, oh, I taught him how to do that when he stuttered and stuff like that, even though I still don't believe there was a whistle. And then for them to, they got off on kidnapping and they admitted to doing that.
Exactly.
They still got off on that. And then a book deal.
It was a lot going on.
It was wild.
I don't care if Emmett jumped up on the counter and twerked on the damn counter. He didn't deserve that, what he got.
Exactly.
And then for the prosecutor to be like, we deal with children down here in Mississippi the way we ought to. The most he should have gotten was a whooping.
Yeah.
So,
and then I have to remember that we live in a different time.
We live in
You don't get to put your hand on people all type of ways.
You don't get to put your hand on my child at all.
But
for you end up strung up.
Okay. Period. Don't you lynch nobody. But God, it was just a lot. And oh Lord. And the story that she came up with was
a ridiculous story.
It was the most
like
the lip tremble. I was like, you know what? They got the right person to play this.
Yeah,
they played the part too well, in my opinion.
Thank you.
That's what I be thinking about when I watch like race movies.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, y'all is really jumping into this role. Like,
yeah, y'all real comfortable saying Negro and nigga up on this TV show.
And we won't forget.
I'm gonna see you in something else and then be like, that's that racist man who was over there calling people niggers.
You lying, because they were like, whoo. They was
Timothy Hutton. Like, I was like,
I don't
like this.
I don't like that.
I don't like this.
Yes, because he played the prosecutor.
Yeah, and he was, man.
What is up with him playing all these jerk characters? Because in The Last Holiday, he was a jerk character.
Oh yeah, he sure was.
Y'all, this stuff be real. They be like, this is a role for me.
Yeah. Like, this is my comfort zone. Right. I asshole.
Whoa, if that's your 55 Mississippi is your comfort zone. You need to find another zone.
Actors get pigeonholed all the time, like, and they play the same kind of character. Like Vanessa L. Williams gonna always play a bitch, a snooty, hoity-toity bitch.
Yes, she does,
and she is wonderful at it.
Which Vanessa Williams you talking about?
Vanessa, Miss America Williams.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Vanessa, Miss America Williams.
She always gonna play a hoity-toity, snooty, uptight bitch, and she is wonderful at it. I love her. But yeah, back to the Carolyn Bryant actress. Like that little lip, tremble, and it grabbed my arm.
I was like, come on, bro.
Bitch, fuck you. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry.
Then he chased me down and grabbed me on the hips, and I was, come on, bro, quit the line.
And I'm just like
the young folks, quit the cap.
But I will say that was actually the only smart tactic that the defense had.
Even though they didn't allow that testimony to be in the thing, they didn't sequester the jury, so everybody in the town
they knew it was gonna flare all over town.
Yeah, like, come on, you hear a sensational story like that, you gonna anybody that can hear it.
And I just I hated there was you did what you were supposed to do. He touched you like that. What? Why would you think child or Black adult, knowing that this would be the outcome, would do that to you? Like, would do that to anyone?
Exactly.
Like, that's wild.
And they try to play up that him being from Chicago up north is different. Down here, they don't respect our customs or our way of life. Because I kept hearing about their way of life, and I'm like, that way of life.
How would you feel if that brute went up in your house and talked to your wife or your sister like that? What Black man just gonna bust in the house and be like, I've been with white women and I want you and I'm gonna have you? Like,
that just never happened.
Never, literally never. To this day has never happened.
And damn sure not in that time.
You ain't lying.
I was like, but it's just white fear. Like, the white fear. And then like that whole White Citizens Council meeting where they're like, there ain't nothing more precious on this earth than a white little girl with blue eyes and blonde hair. And we got to protect them. And then we can't have these Negro children going in the same school as them and then misoginating with our white women. It's like, oh my goodness. It was, oh God. I'm like, that white fear will do it.
Yeah. I hated that they allowed them to bring their children into the courtroom because it was like, y'all need to remember that they got kids. You can't just put them in jail because they got kids to take care of.
Oh my God. Like, it was that. And then the fucking arrogance of them, like while they were giving their like closing arguments, that the bald guy was reading the paper, like
Yeah, they was real.
Yeah.
They've got their wives sitting next to them, all clung up on them, like, and
what
They
kind of
knew
court
that they
is
were-
this? Oh yeah, yeah.
they
They knew it was a
kissing in the
formality.
courtroom, like
It was a
it's like,
formality.
this is crazy. This is a fucking circus. Like, wow.
Mhm.
And then
But
laughing, like, okay, either way it goes, whether y'all find him guilty or innocent, somebody's dead.
mhm,
So
exactly.
I hate that we didn't have any type of forensic science back then where they could have tested her DNA, because I think I don't know why I feel like that would have helped. Okay, I think that really would have done more for the case if they could have positively ID'd him, like with solid
Sure.
evidence. I definitely think that they probably would have gone down. I think. I don't know.
because that was their whole defense. That ain't him.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
who is it?
And then they
Right.
came up. That just was off the cuff. Like the sheriff just came up with that out the blue. He was like, "I never said it was him. I don't even know what color he was." Like, bro, quit
That
playing.
But you signed the death certificate.
That
did,
was
but I
wild
just said it
to
was a
me.
body. I ain't say who it was. I never met Emmett Till. Who in the hell meets the person? Who meets the person?
Yeah, like
The
every sheriff or every coroner meets the person that they
while they
identify.
alive.
Like, what?
You know you about to die today, right? I don't just want to lay eyes on you, so I know it's you. Like,
My thing is,
talking about?
how you gonna say that wasn't a black man? I was just
Exactly.
like, what? Who is listening to this man talk? Like, well, how did you not tell that was a black man? I have questions, but I don't think that it surprised me as much as it should, like, because I'm like, they all stood up for themselves. They knew when they started the trial that they were going to let them people off.
Yeah.
Regardless of, even if the jury was like guilty, they probably would have been like, go spend a day in jail, go spend an hour in jail, like, you did bad.
They only had this trial because America saw what happened, and so they had, it was definitely a formality, or like, okay, fine, we can just can't let the whole world believe that we just animals down here. We'll have a little trial, let the niggers see that we will at least follow some of the laws.
Some of it. Y'all, and I hate that we have like the whole double jeopardy. You can't like convict them because they confessed. You know, they ended up confessing to the murder of Emmett Till, and I was like,
getting paid off of it,
and getting paid off of it, and I was just like, this is gonna sound awful.
Everything we watched up until episode 1 has been awful, so lay it on us.
So Karma did pay them back. Thankfully, they became poor because all the black people stopped going to that shop that they owned. Mm-hmm. All the black people left the farm that the other guy owned, and so they all fell into poverty. And both of those men died of cancer. And I know that's like, I don't mean that is in like a bad way to anyone who has had someone lose to cancer, but like.
Yeah, the only one that is still alive is
Carolyn Bitters.
And she, oh God, let me tell you something. Where episode 5 lost me, 6 picked me up and punched me in the face. That last episode, that got me so bad to where, like, because like I said, you know, I don't watch these episodes alone because I have to be able to process them afterwards. But so Randall was here with me, my honey, and at the end of it, we just looked at each other and just there wasn't even any words. Like, but I think the only thing we said to each other was, "Are you okay?" And both of us was like, "No." I was filled with such rage. Like that whole Look magazine interview was just crazy. Even though I knew about that and I should have known it was coming, it's still, I was filled with such rage that, like, the arrogance and just the audacity. And then the last scenes where they were finally showing like what it probably was like for Emmett, like the whole ordeal of being tortured and stuff.
over their lies because they were telling the lies.
Yes.
And they were showing like, this is most likely how it went down based on the truth.
And they were still trying to perpetuate this lie that Black men are animals because they were like, after all we did to him, he didn't even scream out not once. I'm sorry, like even Jesus, when he was tortured, hollered out, why have you forsaken me? Like there ain't no way that even like the strongest person, like you shoot them, gouging their eyes out, collapse half their skull, and they just
sitting there looking like, what's up?
Like and the only thing he was saying was, I'm just as good as y'all. Really?
Yeah, a scared child that y'all snatched up in the middle of the night was talking cash crazy to y'all like that the whole time.
A 14-year-old.
Crazy. I was like, yeah, that.
All of that was wild. How inhumane can you be? Like, I don't see even the people who was like, yeah, they did this, but we're gonna stand with our people. I don't even see how you could look at them and be like,
they with us.
Yeah, like, you did a great thing. Like, no.
Yeah, because I legit had the same conversation with Randall. I was like, once again, I have to acknowledge that I'm in a different time period. Women work now and can be breadwinners and can be single and be okay. And back then, women did not leave their husbands very often, but there's no way I could lay in the bed next to somebody knowing that they did something like this. And I know like that time period, okay, it wasn't nothing for a white man to kill a Black man and get away with it or whatever. But the way they did it,
the brutality,
tortured a human body to where it was unrecognizable and to where people were like, the mother can't even recognize it. So there's just no way I could be next to somebody and be like,
yeah,
that is crazy.
Literally no way. No, and you can tell now. This is not me giving sympathy to that lion ass, skank ass bitch.
Oh, we're gonna get to that because I got something to say about that. But go ahead.
You could almost tell. Well, I don't know how it was in, actually in the case and trial if she did, but you could tell that a part of her didn't want to do this. Like a part of her didn't want to get up there and lie. You could tell, like they were doing a lot of scenes where she looked at Mamie and was like, and you could tell the look on her face was like, I'm sorry, but I got to. Like, and I don't know if that was just for TV purposes. I don't know if that is really what happened in the courtroom. But even after she told her story, she gave this look like, did I do okay? But like, also, I'm an awful person. And you still are an awful skank ass bitch. And if you ever hear this, I want you to know that you can die very slow death.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Very slow.
All right.
Well, that was one of the few things that I did not like about the series was that it felt kind of like they were kind of positioning us to have a little sympathy or at least try and understand the consequences and like the.
Well, they failed.
Failing.
I don't think the consequences. Oh, we had to close up our shop. Oh no.
Yeah, I felt like because there was that scene where she's like, "There's nothing to laugh," and I was good, bitch. And then where she's looking at me, like like Kayla said, like she's looking at Mamie in the courtroom, or the scene where because it really felt like they were positioning these characters to be like Carolyn's husband. Like he was, I'm being bullied, my brother, or was it a brother-in-law?
Yeah, the brother.
And I was like, he really just made me do it. I just really wanted to scare the boy, but he made me go through with the whole thing. And I was like, yeah, but at no time in that part
did you stop.
Did you stop? Did you try to stop it? Did you stop or walk away? You did nothing. You went through with it, and then you did a fucking interview afterwards. So even if I might have had a little crumb of sympathy after the murder, you went on and did an interview. So sorry.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for you, son.
Not at all.
Yeah, because they tried to make it seem like he's just he's impressionable and he was just doing what what he was told, what he felt he had to protect his family and his good white name. It's like
ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
no.
I did want to talk about Dr. Howard and Mound Bayou and get your thoughts on that part of the episode where they go to the community. It's basically an all Black community. They have the Black hospital. They have the pool for Blacks. They have the living for Blacks. Like, how did that make you all feel just seeing that down in that area where everything was just really messed up, but then you had this little ray of sunshine where Black people were actually thriving and living well in that area?
For me, it was beautiful to see. Mm-hmm. And then it also kind of made me sad because I thought about like how, and I don't know the history of this Black town. I actually have been meaning to look it up, and I probably will later. But I also see how like Black towns that were thriving, how they were treated. I mean, we have Tulsa to look at. So
every time I think about Tulsa, Oklahoma, I get even more enraged.
Right. So I'm just like,
I already know I'm enraged.
Yeah. It cranked it up like past the 10. But it was beautiful to see. And yeah, and I just think Black children are just so beautiful. And to see them just have fun and be free and just be full of joy, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
To me. Yeah. What y'all thought about the life insurance claim? Well, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me back up. Mm-hmm. What were you going to say about the town? Did you have anything to say? You posed the question.
Yeah, I just thought that it was good that they did show that not everyone was living on a plantation or a former plantation working for somebody else, that they were well-to-do Black people in the South that were trying to make strides and trying to build community to uplift Black people that were still in the area. I really think I wish they would have showed a little more. I would really like to have gotten into what was going on there, or how they actually lived, or how they were able to build that. I know they gave a brief history of who started Mound Bayou, but I really wanted to see a little more about, just their day-to-day life and how they were able to just be fruitful down there in a place where they don't want you to succeed.
Yeah, I definitely kind of want to look that up too after the series. And I want to look up all the information about all the Black people back in the day who did something to kind of make our way of living. Well, all Black people back then did something. For most Black people back then did something to make our lives better now. But I would love to hear about these heavy hitters that we don't really hear about. I've never heard about Mound Bayou before I watched this. And even like the Tulsa, Oklahoma, like I heard about it growing up, but not like enough for me to be like, oh, let me go read up on this. But after watching Watchmen, I did do a lot of digging, and what they did was just so inhumane. Like, these folks were inhumane, and some of them still are. But yeah, like, for anyone to have succeeded in that time, to be Black and and be successful, had to do a lot of like standing up and being brave and courageous for themselves, and being brave and courageous for everyone else. Everyone who was a part of the NAACP at that time, brave and courageous when she was like, I didn't know women were a part of this, and they were like, we're essential part of this. Like, no, we're not just a part of this. We are like honey. Like, no, the movement would not move without us. And so I'm just super, super grateful for the people who came before us, who did not fold or falter. And the ones who did fold and falter, power to them too, because I'm sure they thought they were doing the best that they could do.
Yeah, I'm sure
except for the people who was just like, nah, fuck y'all niggas, like a little Uncle Ruckus. Now you little Uncle Ruckuses can go to hell.
All right, no Uncle Ruckus.
Our apologies to anybody named Ruckus.
I know, right?
But yeah, some turbulent times, and I just am thankful that they acknowledge the privilege that I have, that I am living off the sweat and blood and tears of those who came before me, because ain't no way I could say how I would be back then. I just cannot. I would love to be like, I would be a prominent member of the Black race, and I would just fight for justice. But I
probably would have died. just take me out, please, because I won't do this. Yeah, no. Me and my friends joke about this all the time. If there's like a zombie apocalypse, I'm not running. Like,
I know I would die.
I'm not even. I'm just going to be in the fire. Like, I'm not. I'm going to let the first zombie I see eat me.
Goodness, not the first one you see.
Yeah, like
I don't want to be the first, but probably like the next batch, it will get me.
Yeah, no, I have no interest in trying to survive such. No, I have no interest.
I've had this conversation before too, and I'm like, because I think about the apocalypse and how awful it'll be to live during that time, and I'll be, you know what? Is it worth it to live through this?
It's not.
I might just go on and die, be in the ground, asleep, and just be fine, and then hopefully wake up one day. But
period. I am not interested.
Terrell, you would fight to survive during a apocalypse?
Would definitely try to survive. Me
I'm
and
good.
me and my brood, we would fight. We would fight the good fight.
I'm good.
Wow.
Because I don't know. I just can't see just giving up that easy. Like, stick my arm out, like, take a bite. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Now, if I had to do it,
I would just be like that, but I would be like, if they came and attacked me, I'd be, y'all got it.
But especially if they run. If the zombies run, I'm done. Now, if they walk,
zombies, if they walk
in dead zombies. If the zombies walk, I might try.
That would be the furthest that I could do. Like, I might be, oh no, zombies after me. Oh, you got me. But like, as far, how like you see in like Walking Dead and stuff. I don't know. I've not watched that, but like they be building these panic rooms and have guns and like building up like food storage and stuff. No, I mean, you know what?
Nah, bro.
Is it worth it to live like this?
But then what? So that's it. The end of the human. Like, all right, we gonna check out.
Survive like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what you just gonna eat a can of tuna every one a day and then until you run out and then die?
Yeah, no.
No, then you got to go out on runs. Come on now.
I'm not finna do none of that.
If there's nobody making stuff, what are you gonna run to get?
Then you have to go out in the wild and get it how you live.
Again, no, thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How did y'all feel about the life insurance tactic that the defense was trying to throw in there? Like,
it didn't make any sense. You would have thought it was $500,000 or something. It was like a couple of $100.
It was $400.
But I'm assuming back in the time that was a lot.
Which would have been about $4,000 back then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
but that's not enough to make you make up this whole big to-do.
To kill your own child.
Yeah, for approximately $4,000. Like, that's not. I know they thought
was like literally just trying to make us sound like animals. Like,
yeah.
You killed
your son so you could get a little money. Mind you, she was doing well up in Chicago.
Exactly.
Y'all don't know nothing about that woman to be over here trying to say, yeah,
she did it for the money.
You just wanted a little money. No, sir.
No, that was. No. And the thing is, the stuff they say Black people do, they do in droves.
What?
They do it like out of control, and you like, y'all don't see this. But as soon as one Black person does one thing, you're like, look at it.
It's because they're animals. Exactly. And they're not human. Like,
bro, y'all doing the most animalistic shit you could think of, and as soon as a Black person is thought to have done something, look at them. See,
savages. Oh my goodness. And that is why, like, I have heard the argument, like, when it comes to like school shootings or abortions, like, well, Blacks have more abortions than anybody, and Blacks shoot up people more than anybody. What about Black on Black crime? And it's like, you remember the show I was telling you about last week, Miss Pat? Mm-hmm. She had a quip that she shot back that was so slick and was the perfect response to that. I was like, you know what? I fucks with that because they were talking about school shootings as opposed to black on black crime. They're like, well, what about blacks killing each other? And she was like, yeah, Day gonna shoot Ray, but these little white kids gonna kill us all.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like,
yep.
I was like, yeah,
because it's true.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, I was like, but yeah, that was just crazy.
How you expect me to bury the baby? How you expect me to pay for all this stuff if I don't? That's what life insurance is for. And y'all asses would have took out life insurance for your kid. And then my thing was the whole. I feel like that should have hurt their case regardless, because at the end of the day, she got it when he was born. If you are going to try to make a case to say you did this just to collect the insurance money, I would think that you would have just gotten it when he died, like right before he died or something like that.
Yeah, when he went on the trip. But the stuff they were coming up with made no sense. The stuff they said about Mose, well, Mose got the ring and then he just put it on this corpse. Like, who? How? Why? That makes no sense.
All those questions.
But let me tell you how lazy this defense was. Like, and I don't know, maybe I'm showing my evil nature, but
oh Lord.
But Emmett's dad. Okay, so we, at the end we get the whole backstory on what happened with Emmett's dad. Given what we know about that time and the general white fear of the time period, anybody who done a little piece of research could have found that out in the beginning, and that could have been their whole defense. Like,
y'all know that wasn't true, right?
Well, no, it wasn't true, but it was believed to be true. That's what was reported.
So
that could have been their whole defense. Been like, oh, well, Emmett is just a rapist like his daddy. And everybody in that car would have been, that's right, because them niggas be raping. But instead, they gave this whack-ass, silly-ass, don't make no sense ass defense. And then around the end, somebody was like, well, let's look into the boy's daddy. And then found it out. And I'm just like... That was it was the whole trial, the defense, just everything. It was just so lazy. Like, but y'all see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Of course.
Yeah.
They didn't even take that's how much that they knew that they were going to get away with that. They didn't even come up with a decent strategy.
Basically, we gonna rely on our good white people to do the good white thing and make sure these good white people don't go down for just killing some black kid from Chicago.
Right.
But I think doing that, they shot themselves in the foot overall in the South. Had they convicted those men, it wouldn't have been an uproar. Had they done everything like they were supposed to do, it wouldn't have been any type of backlash or this and that. This person committed a crime. We found the people that committed a crime. Everything's good down here. Don't worry about it. And they could have kept doing what they've been doing, living how they've been living. But wanted to fight this so bad for protection of these white people, they shot themselves in the foot, and it blowing up in their face. And everything black people deserved, we ended up getting from the situation.
Pretty much.
You literally turned the state of Mississippi upside down, and just to save these two white men. And then, like, did y'all hear the parts where they were like, "There's no way he could have done this. There was a nigger drowning in his pond, and he went out there and saved him. The niggers of Mississippi love him."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they really tried to play them up.
They really did. And I was just like,
these people are heroes. They're heroes. There was one that was bleeding out. He let him drive his truck into town. Who would do that if you didn't like them? You like the niggers in their place. Like, the thing is, always had to be in our place. Like, bro, come on. Always in our place. If we not in our place, then we out of pocket. Then that's when you think you need to discipline us. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it was just crazy. And yeah, that last episode was hard.
It was.
God, it was so hard. And
it was so hard to see her break down, go to her mom. Like, all of that was hard. And I was just like, she should never have had to live through this at all. I don't know that I've heard of a more horrific killing ever in my life. Like, I've heard of people, even getting curb stomped to me is like minor to what they did to this poor child. And for him to be 14 and just to know he was alive for all of this, it's not like they killed him. They literally tortured him.
Mm-hmm.
And I could only imagine what his, like, the last part of his life just felt like for him. And that would make me want to really cry and weep, because I'm like, this he didn't know. He didn't know what he was doing would have made this outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he didn't deserve that at all. So yeah. It was really sad.
Yeah, it was very, very rough. But I do like that there were moments, even in that last episode that was just really hard, but there were moments of Black joy and Black love. I really, really loved the scene on the train with Mose and the 3 boys, these beautiful Black boys. And they're just like, you could tell, I mean, because we know the story, we know what they've gone through, but they're just on this train getting ready to be taken to a better life. And, they reminisce about Bobo, and they, share a smile and a laugh. And then, they go all the way to Chicago and they meet up with their mom. And then there's this touching moment between Mose and his wife where they kiss and embrace. And it's just this beautiful display of Black love, even in the end of all of this tragedy. Still got a little piece of that, and that was very beautiful. That was a beautiful scene.
Yes, it was.
It was. It was very beautiful.
What do y'all think about? I know, Terrell, you posed this question last week, but I want to pose it again. What do y'all feel about the NAACP's overall involvement in this whole thing? Because in the beginning, it was like, they were very supportive, but then around the end, it kind of got a little like, okay, Mamie's become a little cash cow, and
all the money coming in, baskets and baskets full of money every time she spoke. And then as soon as a little or something came out about her husband, then all of a sudden, well, why didn't you tell us this? We could have got ahead of this. We could have did this. And I was like, no, y'all want this money to keep coming in. And now that there's a little stain on her, y'all like, oh, we're not gonna get as much as we thought we were gonna get out of her. So we're upset with you for something that had nothing to do with you. And then
she didn't know about.
Exactly. She was like, well, I got it through a telegram. I didn't go to Italy to see what was going on. I mean, come on, y'all. They was tripping. So I did not like that. I thought that was in poor taste for the NAACP. It didn't put them in a good light, especially toward the end of that, because you could have still supported her. Her story was still valid. What happened to her son still happened to her son.
And who was the guy that was with her?
The advisor?
Yeah, because I don't think he was part of the NAACP.
No, he wasn't. He was an advisor, but he still kind of was like, but he was just talking about money. Like, well, then
I felt like he was doing it to protect her, but it was just like, it's not the best way to support her right now.
No, the people, I feel 2 ways about this. I absolutely believe that they were vital in supporting her and getting the information out there, letting the world know what happened. But I also think that it kind of flipped on them. They definitely flipped and were like, yep, I see this as a money-making opportunity. Thank you for playing. So I think it's like one of those win-lose situations. Like, she absolutely needed the NAACP to make this case as national as it was, but they did start taking advantage of her at some point.
Yeah, and I think she did separate from them. If I read correctly, when I read up on Mamie, she separated from them after a while, like later after this trial. But I do think that with the NAACP and like large entities like that, like the church or other like, projects of that nature, like sometimes the lines between purpose and profits can get a little blurry. And so, even though some organizations or institutions are doing good work, they still have to survive. And so sometimes they blur those lines, and it's like, okay, that's a little much right now, and maybe you need to back up off of Mamie. Because at the very root of the situation, she still did lose her child.
Exactly.
And so it's not going to be a money grab for her, at least not at this juncture. They just finished the trial.
Mm-hmm. And she had so many, because they kept cutting to so many different speaking engagements, so many different times where she was up in the forefront telling the story, which you didn't want that story to die down. You wanted it to still continue on. But yeah, I think that they definitely knew that it was an opportunity to forward their agenda, which was the agenda for Black people, but using her pain to forward that agenda, I think was necessary, but also it left me conflicted on how I felt about the NAACP's involvement.
Yeah. And I thought that it was very important for them to show us Mamie sharing her feelings about feeling left behind.
The rest of the movement.
Right. Because I think that probably happened a lot because, there were these sparks all over the country that would like ignite this movement. It was Emmett Till's death, and then it was Rosa Parks, and then it was the bus boycotts, and then it was the lunch counter protests. And so like, yeah, and once these things happen, it's like on to the next thing and then on to the next thing. And so I'm very sure that the people who were like at ground zero of these events, once the press and the media moves on to the next thing, I'm sure that they felt behind. Like I was watching not the movie, but the documentary on Nina Simone on Netflix, I think it was. And it talks about how she experienced the same thing. Like, because when she started, she was this classical pianist and faced discrimination and never really found her place in this white world with like classical music and that style of playing. But then when the civil rights movement started, she found her bearings and was making a lot of like music, like the Young, Gifted, and Black song and song about Martin Luther King. But then when the civil rights movement, like when that era kind of slowly ended, she was like, what do I do now? Like, I participated in all these protests and march, and now we're not really doing that anymore. What do I do now? And it was like her career never recovered. So I just thought it was a really great thing because nobody talks about that. Like, we love to talk about the sensationalism of like things that happen and the movement, but we don't talk about the after effects of like those that were really involved, those that were really affected, the people who died, like the Freedom Riders, who like people were murdered, their families. We don't talk about that stuff.
I would have to agree.
I agree with that.
It's so unfortunate. I mean, and it still goes on today. That's the hard part. Like,
like once something happens, like the victims or the survivors of it, you just are expected to just go on,
figure it out.
Yeah. And it's on to the next.
On to the next thing. Like I often like think about that when I think about like people who are like these Black men who are killed by the police. Or not just Black men, it's like Black people really, because men, women, and children.
Yes.
Yeah. But once it happens in the news and it's like boom, 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 big, and then the next one happens and the press is like, we'll see ya, and we're going on to the next one. But these families are broken and they're forever changed. But we don't really get that perspective. I hope that this series continues with another woman in the movement, because I think that's another thing that, that has been kind of left out of history about like the women who were pivotal in this movement.
Well, quick question. Who would you want to see them cover if there's another season of this? Who would you want them to focus on for the next woman of the movement?
Oh, Diane Nash, hands down.
Diane Nash. Okay.
I don't know. I know who is that.
Yeah, Diane Nash.
I don't think I know who that is.
She was like an important part of the lunch counter protest.
I actually, when you said the lunch counter protest before, I actually don't know who that is either.
Oh, well, it's like where they would do stage these sit-ins at like these white-only eating establishments.
Okay.
And of course, the white folks went bonkers and was like throwing food at them and yelling in their faces and, and then pushing them out to the outside where the dogs and the fire hoses would.
What about you, Kayla? Who would you want to see?
I think I would want to see more. I feel like we have so much Rosa Parks stuff out there, but I feel like if they were going to delve into this the way that they delved into Mammy, it might be worth another watch of another Rosa Parks documentary, or the Freedom Riders and how all of that went down. That would be cool.
Okay.
I would like to see that.
See more of that. Okay. Oh, and Kirsten, who was the person you picked? Who was she again? What you said she was part of that was her movement? The lunch counter.
She had a strong portion of that, the lunch counter protest. Like I'm looking at her Wikipedia page now. But yeah, she did like civil rights campaigns for integrating the lunch counters in Nashville, the Freedom Riders to desegregate in interstate travel. She worked with the Selma voting rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she did work.
Wow.
And it's so sad. I've never heard of her before, but she sounds like she put in all the work. Okay.
Well, she was I would love to, because she worked with a lot of civil rights campaigns. But she, she was in Selma. Well, not her, but she was portrayed in Selma, the movie. The other light-skinned woman that was other than Coretta, because it was like these two actresses that look alike, and it was like, wait, which one is that one? Okay, that's not Coretta. Okay, that's Diane. So but she, I just like her because she was kind of like raised in privilege, but then when racism finally hit her, it was like, wait a minute, I got to step in because this is not right.
I got to step in for my people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you would hope a lot of people with privilege would step in and do stuff, but I digress. But I would want to see a series on Ruby Hurley, showing her strength throughout this. I was like, she's interesting. I did not know about her prior to this, but I would love to know more about her and what she did. And because I did a little searching on her, and I see that she ended up staying down south and continued the fight for Black equality. And I just wanted to know more about her story because she seemed like a very strong Black woman who backed down, even during that case when the district attorney came in and started talking crazy about how they weren't able to find the witnesses. She was like, she wasn't going to back down from them either. I was like, wow.
Oh, when he was like, if she keep talking to me like this, we gonna have a problem. And she was like, oh, I'm gonna show you a problem. I'm gonna show you how much of a problem I can be. Yeah, I was like, ooh, real boss girl moves.
Because I was like, ooh, wow, you really about to stand up to these white men right now, right here,
right now? She was like, yeah, if you got a problem, then we got a problem.
Exactly.
I love that about her.
Miss Hurley. Miss Hurley was.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would watch that because she was
a badass.
I was like, yes, Sister Man.
Is Ruby still alive? Yeah, she died in 1980. Gosh, okay, so that's been a while. But like if they did Diane Nash, I would love that because she's still alive, and so she could like give input, like first account.
That would be dope. I would love that.
Looking at Ruby Hurley, she is gorgeous. Women back then used to be so pretty. Oh God. I'm looking at this picture of Ruby Hurley, and she got a little victory rolls in, and got a little hair, a little coif, and Mamie, all her beautiful dresses and stuff. And I know them white folks did not like that. Her going in that courtroom dressed up like that. I know they didn't like that. Well, is it time for best, worst, and weirdest?
My best was the strength of the women of this movement, because it was, I understand why they chose to name it that, because it was some strong women here fighting for Mammy and the lady from, like, it was some strong women who made this happen. And I'm so very grateful for that. I'm so very grateful for their courage. Best, the worst was that watching this all play out and knowing the outcome was really hard to watch. But I am so very grateful that they put this production together. Is there a weird? I feel like there's no weird besides how weird it is for you to treat people like this. You have to ever have treated people like this. That was fucking weird. Yeah. That was weird person vibes.
Well,
yeah.
I agree. I would say the best for me was, like I mentioned earlier, watching, even though it was few and far between, those little pockets of Black love and Black joy. And it was really beautiful to watch. Like, I cannot stress enough how beautiful the train scene and the arriving in Chicago scene was for Mose. Almost like a redemption scene. Like, and, you know, we acknowledge that this happened and we're trying to move forward and put the pieces back together as best we can. That was beautiful. Worst, that scene of them retelling that interview but then layering it over the visuals of what actually happened to Emmett. That shit was awful. Like, that shook me. And so that was the worst for me, although it was a very powerful scene. The weirdest, like I said, episode 5 kind of lost me. And I wouldn't say so much that it was weird, but it was just a lot to try and decipher. Like, the whole legal defense, and it was just like, it was what was weird was that it just was so thoughtless and so silly and so lazy, and just, so that's my best, worst, and weirdest.
See, the best, I do like that they showed the strength of the women during this movement. I believe that it was something that we needed to see. We don't really see many shows like this where you just have a strong Black woman doing the best they can during the best or the worst times of circumstances. See, the worst was just seeing how they were able to get away with what they got away with. It seemed like a farce that if they didn't have to do it, it's something that they wouldn't have even done, because it seemed like a waste of time in their opinion, even though it was something that ended up biting them in the end overall. And the weirdest was just how you could treat people who are also human as if they were less than, and there not being many consequences to those actions.
Yeah,
so,
it was hard. All right. Well, anybody have any final thoughts before we move into what we're binging this week?
Am I gonna binge anything after this? But yeah, no more final thoughts. Just
no.
Right.
I am watching right now All of Us Are Dead on Netflix. Oh God, the Koreans have a chokehold on me. It is a zombie, which, you know, I'm actually really not a huge zombie watcher fan.
Me either.
But I started watching The Walking Dead. I loved it. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, that sounds fun. Let's watch that. And it is so good because you really want to know what happens. And like, I encourage everyone to watch it. It was so good. Like, well, I'm not finished it. I haven't finished it yet, but it is really good. And I really enjoy it. So I think everyone else would really enjoy it too. So I think you should watch it.
Nice. I have seen the advertising, but I was like, zombie stuff. But I will say the trailer looked good, but I was just like, I'm not really into zombie stuff. Because catching up on Grey's Anatomy, because I was a season behind. Like, they started the new season, and now I'm watching the new one.
The show that never ends.
The show that's never.
And I love it, but I'm like, it might be time to hang it up. But
it was time to hang it up, and I will never say, like, I will hold this true. Before this ever happened in the show, I was like, this would be a perfect ending to the show. Izzy comes back. She has children. and the whole shit just stopped. So when they had that episode of Karev going back to Izzy and the kids that he never knew about, I was like, this would have been the perfect ending. It would have left us off kind of crazy, but it was the perfect ending, and they fumbled the fucking bag by continuing the fucking show. And
First
that
of
is
all,
my spiel.
they fumbled the fucking bag because Alex would have never done that. I'm sorry. I hold true to that. Like, to just leave like that, that was
and leave. Yeah, I don't think he would have ever left Joe like that. I don't think so. Like, oh God, it's just so heart-wrenching because she was so fucking
Yeah, and I'm gonna stop before we turn this into a Grey's Anatomy episode. But
I'm about to say, yeah, please.
Oh Lord. But yeah, that's what I'm watching, and yeah, that's all for now. I haven't been in the mood to start anything new. Do y'all get like that? Or y'all like, I'm gonna go back to my Ready Steady, or I'm not in the mood to start anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Terrell, what you binging?
I am actually binging. I binged it twice actually. I watched the reboot of the game on
What? They rebooted that?
Yes. And it's not it's kind of comedic, but it's not a sitcom. It's more of a dramedy. And it's actually pretty good. I love it. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
What network did that?
Paramount Plus.
Who's in it?
A lot of the rich characters. You have Wendy, Raquel, Robinson, guy who played Malik. Malik is back. The guy who played Derwin Davis, he comes back for a few episodes.
Okay, I was wondering if he was, but I know ain't no Melanie in it.
No, she said she wasn't coming back, which is unfortunate. I hope they are able to get her to come back for the second season because I like the direction that they're taking it. It's more serious with still some comedic elements. They talk more about mental health issues, which I was surprised. More stuff like involving football players and their well-being and their actual health, and not just a bunch of crazy just foolishness going on. It's literally following Brittany Pitts, the young girl. So I was like, wow, okay, she's all grown up now and living her life.
Britt Brat.
Yep, Britt Brat. Yep, they follow her.
Okay.
And then the football player that is the main character is a football player who went to prison for 3 years for statutory rape, and his climb back into getting into the NFL, well, whatever pro league they have over there. So I enjoyed it. I ended up watching it once by myself and then once with the wife. She was like, I can't believe you watched it without me. I was like,
You knew better.
But I didn't mind watching it again. So it was a win-win for me.
Have y'all seen where they're rebooting the Fresh Prince and it's a show called Bel Air?
Can't wait to see it.
Randall sent it to me and I was like, okay.
I'm definitely willing to give it a try, and I do like that Will Smith was a part of it. Was a part of it coming into fruition. So if it has the original Fresh Prince's approval, then I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, I want to see it. I just want to see what they could do with that. Taking a sitcom and turning it into I don't think this is going to be a drama. I think this is going to be a straight up drama.
Yeah.
So definitely want to see how they take that and what they can do with that. Just because I enjoyed, people act like two things can't exist. You can have Fresh Prince of Bel Air and Bel Air, though they're similar. They're two separate things.
Oh yeah.
Some people are like, I don't want them to remake that. They're messing up. They're not messing it up because they're not doing it again. Like I heard that one time they wanted to do Fresh Prince of Bel Air with, I guess, Will Smith's daughter, well, fictional daughter that he had. And
really?
Yeah, but I was like, because they did it with Raven's House where they and I was like
that show and it's doing pretty well.
Really? I just
it's been on for like 3 or 4 seasons now.
Wow.
It was very different. It was very like Raven's World was absolutely very different than That's So Raven was, but I watched it.
Yeah, it's very different, but it's still like you could tell that it was created in a way that it would be good for those of us who watch That's So Raven, but also appropriate for new Disney like young children. So like it's her, but it's her children, and they're kind of the star, but it's Raven. Nobody outstars Raven.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, absolutely.
She has a ton of scenes. And she's very involved. Of course, it's obviously her kids, so she's very involved with them. And so a lot of the one-liners and the zingers, she still got them. And the kids, they deliver some effectively, but not as much as her. So it's a good little mix. Like, because usually when they do shows like that, they make the new kids the star, and then like the old star will come back in every now and then and be like, but it's so much of her to where it really is just like That's So Raven 2.0. Yeah, I enjoy it.
What I'm most looking forward to the reboot of is the Proud Family. It seems like it's going to be just as great and excellent as the first one was. So I'm very excited for that to come out.
I'm looking forward to that too. I'm gonna go back and watch the Proud Family to get ready. The Proud Family, and I'm not even a real big cartoon watcher like that, but the Proud Family was excellent programming.
Yeah, it was.
And before I ever watched Schitt's Creek, the Proud Family was my favorite show growing up. Like it kind of gave the Proud Family and That's a Raven. The Proud Family, That's a Raven.
Okay,
but Schitt's Creek kind of just took all that.
Schitt's Creek was amazing. That's our show, folks. And Kayla is going to take us out.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. For bonus content and to learn more about the show, head over to www.sitcomscripts.com. If you've got a suggestion for a film that you'd like us to talk about, leave us a voicemail and let us know. Or if you have something to add to the conversation or just say hello, leave us a voicemail